Alright everyone, hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2 in the free mode with me, Spacefish, and welcome back to the beautiful countryside out here in Europe. In the last episode, we actually worked a bit more on our sawmill line, and we found a bit of a detrimental issue to the whole plan of actually connecting this sawmill in order to provide more planks for this tools factory so that we can, in the future, actually produce more tools. The detrimental issue being that we don't need more planks. So, yeah, quite a bit of fail right there. So, we've moved on to somewhat repurposing all this and connecting up instead the machines factory in Stapleford to that sawmill and, well, hopefully then selling off our goods to that sawmill instead, so that, you know, in the end, all is hopefully more or less going to work out fine for us. But that machines factory is also going to require a bit more. It's going to need some steel, and then we will of course eventually need to deliver out those machines, so there's certainly a bit left on the to-do list right there. But just quickly, before we get started, if you're new around the channel and if you happen to enjoy this episode, please make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below. We are trying to hit 1k subs by the end of the year, and it's crazily over optimistic and we're already way behind target, so well, I truly need the help from each and every single one of you, and if you do so, thank you very much for that indeed. But with that out of the way then, let's just quickly look at where we left off in the last episode. If we have a quick look at the lines here, we do for one actually have all these lines connected. I think we did not connect up this forest just yet because, well, quite frankly, the sawmill isn't quite where we need it to be just yet in terms of the output and that it has, well, or the level that it has to actually require more wood. So we're not on that just yet. And we do have wood to machinery Stapleford already set up. So that's all kind of done. We do have the train going back and forth here, which is transporting a nice bit of wood. That's going to turn into planks then. So that is all also taken care of. And now we're here at the Stapleford Machines factory, which is going to receive the planks, but it's not going to receive the steel. So that's something to take care of, and also I think eventually I would really like to actually connect Stapleford to the passenger grid, like connecting it with Blackburn and then having like a passenger train going like Darlydale, Blackburn, Stapleford, maybe even one going Basingstoke, Stapleford, and like Stanhope, or, well, something between like Stapleford, Dudley Ride, you know. There's a bunch of options, and I would like to connect a bunch of those indeed. So we'll have to see how we overall do that, especially given that I kind of feel, given orientation, we may require 2 train stations here at Stapleford. But for now, let's focus on trying to get the steel together for this, and I think that's going to be an interesting one. Technically, we've got some coal mines up here, which I suppose, worst case, we could connect, but that is a far ways out, honestly. These are already connected to that steel factory. Do have iron mines up here. We do technically already have steel works, or a steel mill down here. So that would be an option to connect. Would it be the best one? I'm not sure, to be honest. Do we have a different one anywhere close is the question. I think the answer is pretty much no. We do have some iron mines out here technically, but that's also quite far away, to be fair. We do have a steel mill all the way out there, but honestly, if we already have one down there, that doesn't really make that much sense. So I think we'll probably work off of this steel mill down here. We're kind of going to have to find out how to get the materials flowing in here, though. We'll already get a cargo station up and running, make it quite long, make it probably high speed. And we will place that somewhat like this, I feel. And then connect that up to the streets, which hopefully this is still going to be more or less in range. Worst case, I guess we can always, well, we can attach the street like that. That way it should most certainly be in range. And then we kind of have to actually pull that far enough out to a point where this is going to be connected. And then that should be very nicely connected to the steel mill. Beautiful. So that's a start. Now for the delivery route, I'm not all too worried, which, well, to be honest, I totally forgot to expand this thing out a bit more, because of course we'll need some more tracks, so let's quickly just do that before we do anything else. We'll need another cargo platform out here. We will need 3 sets of tracks, 1 to deliver the steel out, of course, 2 to receive the coal and the iron. So Well, you know, delivery should be somewhat nice and easy. Quick tunnel through here, kind of merge it up to here. We will have to see about this, but we can probably just pull a tunnel underneath because we've got a tunnel going up here anyway. So that should all, overall, I think, work out quite fine. I'm not all too worried about the delivery. The interesting part is going to be actually getting the coal and the iron down there. Now... well, I mean, we did get rid of parts of this, and we don't technically need this connection anymore, so I suppose we could at least get kind of rid of this. Worst case, if this is in the way, we can probably put the train depot somewhere else as well. I mean, it's not been the huge investment. To be honest, it is probably in the way. Then again, we also have, like, passenger lines up here. We'll have to see, because this is all going to crisscross like mad in terms of the lines, and that's sort of what I'm worried about the most, if that makes any sense. Now, the coal should be somewhat easy. I think I would probably choose... maybe even this coal line, because I think the alignment could be a bit better in terms of getting the train line going like this somewhat, or... yeah, I think that alignment is probably going to be a bit better, a bit more favorable for us. Then we will have to probably pick that iron mine, and that's going to be an interesting one, because I guess we're going to have to go here, given that there's mountains right around the corner. Then kind of ravine it down like that, have a tunnel through that hill line, and then just have things going like that. So, let's maybe start out here with a cargo station, 2 tracks, because we're just going to pass the other tracks through here as well, probably. Even though we technically don't have to, I think we're going to just streamline things a bit more like that, have some parallel train tracks going. Is that alignment about fine? Yeah, it looks quite decent, I would say. So, that's going to be about the alignment that we're working with the plane flying right overhead. We're going to have to properly connect that up with a street, of course. And we are going to do said things just like that. Done. And we'll potentially have to remove or at least reshape that street. We'll see about that part. But first things first, let's try and get a train line going out to down here as is, because that's probably going to already be quite hard. We do have a bridge out here that we could probably go below. And maybe we could cross this with another bridge. So I think these two will be somewhat doable. The interesting part is how we're going to do this out here, because I don't really want to block this off from passenger traffic, to be honest. So that could be where things get a bit dicey. We'll see. For now, we'll pull one train line out. It doesn't really matter which one it is, I would argue, because, well, quite frankly, the other one's going to have to go exactly the same way anyways. We are going to want to pull this a bit further up. We would have a tunnel out here, and we would actually be crossing like that, which is not quite what I want, I have to say. My idea would be more something like that, then we kind of shorten things to where we don't instantly have this being raised, and then we can maybe sort of lower this in time to have that going below there. We'll have to see about that. May also be a bit of an issue, but yeah, so we're basically just going to pull this out right to the bridge. We're going to make it a steel bridge, which is currently the fastest one that we have, but honestly, 180 kilometers an hour, totally fine. I mean, like, cargo trains are not going to go any faster than that anytime soon, if ever, so that is quite fine in my mind. That alignment should about work out for us quite nicely as well, so let's pull it out like that. And now we will have to see, because of course we want to go all the way down. We're currently already ending up with a bridge, so wow, that's an interesting construct. Let's put it like that. Okay, so we're going to have to cross above, which maybe in the end, honestly, isn't the worst thing, because that way, at least, we can keep the space open here for the passenger trains to go down below. We'll just have to kind of make sure that it's not going to be that expensive, which, you know, is probably going to be quite a challenge, to be fair. So this is going to be the height that we have to go for out here. I do kind of want to slope this a bit inward so we can have a little bit nicer of a flowing slope out here to the steel mill in the very end, and that way, well, we're going to be a bit closer to the city, which is maybe not going to be that great for emissions, but at least for the overall sustained speed, it should hopefully somewhat work fine. And now we need to slope this downwards, and this is kind of what I was afraid of, because this is going to take absolute ages to get this slope downwards properly, which kind of is going to be what it is, I suppose. We're just going to make another massive bridge. At least it's going to work out with the other train line. Let's see the positive things here. Bit of a weird hill like that, but at least we get things nicely downwards, so I'm not going to complain. At least we can save some money, or maybe not, because there's apparently too much slope, which is not going to happen if we just adjust that to the ground. That way we also don't have that, and the cars don't have to wait. That is absolutely beautiful. I think that works out just the way that we mostly wanted that. Now, I think we can honestly quite nicely just ravine things around here and then have them ravine back in right there. And that way, maybe even keep a bit more speed in the curve for a start. So we're going to do things like that. And I do actually have to kind of check back. Was this the right or the left train line? That was the right one, okay. So we're going to connect that to the right one here too. A little bit of a slowdown right there, but honestly still for any cargo trains that we have in this era, probably absolutely not even a bit of a problem. And there goes the first one. Now that was already 10 mil for the whole railway, so yeah, quite the massive spending. We'll just go and pull out the parallel train line right here, to be honest, because I'm already quite determined that I want to build things with that iron line here that way about, so we're just going to do that, and maybe we at least get to save some construction costs, given that we already have a bridge going. It is not looking all too terrible in terms of cost, I'll have to say. This isn't all nicely copying over, which is beautiful. We'll just stop things right here for a quick second to make sure we can check them all through. That's going to be a nice and widened bridge. And overall, it feels like it's not quite as pricey as the first line was, just given that we've already got like the pillars and like everything about laid out. I mean, if we go down here, that's 4.3 mil. I'm quite confident that that should be like 6 or 7 mil spent in the end. It certainly feels like a bit less. So quite happy with that. And we're gonna go pull that out. Beautiful. Get that pulled in, and that's that. That's already a massive part of the railway done. Quite happy with that overall, I'll have to say. If we ever need to get a connection up and running here again, we could probably just do it through a tunnel, but I doubt that that's ever going to happen now that I know that I don't need it. I mean, unless, you know, it could be that we have to deliver tools somewhere eventually. I don't know. Maybe. That was kind of the plan, I think, actually. That was part of the plan that I have forgotten about, haven't I? We were looking to sell some tools out to a different city in order to actually get that leveled a bit more. Maybe like Dudley or so, I think was the plan. So yeah, we'll have to see, but I think worst case we just build a small tunnel through here, then we go around here. We've got a bridge going through which we can go, another bridge here, so we'll figure it out. I think that's going to be fine. This is all connected up though, so what we're going to be looking at next now is going to be another cargo station, this time a terminus, only with one track, which we are going to build up here in the mountains, and that's going to be an interesting one to connect, but that should overall be quite fine for the angle. I think we want to kind of, you know, make this a bit of a wider curve to not slow down the train all too much. That's nicely connected. Let's double check to the iron mine right there, and then we'll have to go and pull out another bit of a railway. Now, even this sort of curve is already quite high speed, to be honest, so that's quite nice. I think we can mostly keep it that way, to be fair. Looks quite good to me. 200 kilometers an hour is probably going to suffice for eternity, and then we can connect things right through here. So apparently we're taking this train line for iron, then the other one for coal. All nice and straightforward. 4 mil for this one, I think. Not too cheap, not too crazy expensive, all good overall, I would say. I'm going to get time playing at 3 times speed for a quick minute just to earn some more money, because I think the trains are going to cost me a fair bit on top here too. But I'm already going to go... Maybe I should get a train depot going out here. I think that makes the most sense overall. We're going to put that right there and then kind of just connect the tracks up, one like this. And another one right here to the other one then, and then we can, with one train depot, kind of take care of both of those lines. Nice. So we were just at 26 mil. Unfortunately, we did actually spend some stuff on maintenance, so gonna have to give the game a quick minute to actually sort things out. I think we're gonna start here though at 25 million, and then we're gonna just see how far that money gets us. So first things first, I'm just going to start with a call. Doesn't really matter. We're going to start with a call. Gonna have to see that is the right terminal here indeed. And that is the right terminal there indeed as well. So that is beautiful. We will call that coal to Basingstoke Steel Mill. And then we will just go and get ourselves a train for that. Now the question is what kind of frequency we need. For a start, it's probably not going to be that high. 200. Wow, okay, 200 units of production. That's actually something to think about, I think. Just as with this steel mill, in the future we will potentially actually need more of a goods inflow to actually keep it running, which could be an issue, because that could mean that we've just taken away the iron from that steel mill. So, you know, just saying. But we do have another iron mine down here, so that should be good, I guess. Did I actually totally not see that one? Could have probably connected to that, but I think this one's honestly quite fine. It's nice and streamlined. Coal shouldn't be the biggest issue in the world if we ever need more iron. I mean, this one's for that steel mill, more or less, so maybe we're going to have to bring it all the way from up there or something. We'll probably see about that someday. This one actually isn't too badly aligned, but yeah, one way or another. If that comes to be, we'll probably need to expand that train station down there. For now, 200 units though, with like 2 units of iron and 2 units of coal being required per unit of steel means we actually have a requirement of 400 units. So like we will need the full capacity of this coal mine right away. So that train's going to have to be quite big to actually manage given the distance. In terms of speed and tractive effort and everything in between, kind of considering, to be honest, electric trains again. I'll have to say, I mean, these trains are great and beautiful and all, and they're very nice and fast, but after all, cargo containers can't go that fast anyways, and what counts in the very end for us is more the power and the tractive effort, and of course the maintenance costs associated with that, rather than the speed that the thing has to offer. So, like a crocodile would be quite nice for maintenance, I have to say. We would be losing out on 5 kilometers an hour, but I'm not sure that's the worst thing in the world. The question more being, just given the overall inclines and everything, if it would be able to keep up with the amount of cars we need on it, especially because we will probably, given the distance, need quite a bit of an amount of cars. But maybe we can just quickly measure that with, is this train right here? No, not that train right there. That train right there, which is our wood train that's just about to arrive. So this one, we can actually just quickly edit and see. We're at good here. But that one's got a 3,000. So I think that's pretty much... Which one is that? Yeah, that's the BRE 94. We have a capacity of 456 units, which means in high slopes 56 kilometers, medium 80. And given the distance, let's kind of try and compare. It feels like this one's a bit shorter, I'll have to say. Not massively. Can you see the line distance anywhere? Like how long? No, you can't. Maybe in line statistics? No, it doesn't look like you can actually see how long that line is in terms of kilometers. It would be quite nice for comparative purposes here. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Like, I think we would probably need like a capacity of about 350. So let's try and see if we can still end up at a decent speed with a crocodile. If not, we may sort of somewhat upgrade. Not sure to which level, but we may do that. I'm kind of not too convinced the crocodile will make the cut, to be honest. But let's see. So we're going to go with like 350-ish capacity, which is already quite long. We're already at a mediocre here. Not enough power for high slopes. And like that, it's 40. I think we're going to upgrade this train by one level, if we can. No, how do I scroll back like this? So we're going to remove this one. We're going to go to the A47. That's going to get us to good. High 58. So we've got a bit of a leeway right there. We're going to start with 312 of capacity. See if we can hit that 400 of a frequency that we're looking for. And then if we need to, this train's going to give us the leeway to kind of add another train cart or two on top. We're not going to lose 5 kilometers an hour. We're going to have a bit quicker acceleration. I think that's kind of the nice middle ground. I don't think we need a BRE 94 for this one. For the iron, maybe we do. Because honestly, that train line's even longer. So we'll have to see about that. Maybe we can also kind of just extrapolate that from the frequency that this one is going to be going at. But let's buy this one for 23 million. That's all our money instantly out the window. Trains have really become expensive, I have to say. But, you know, that is totally fine. We're also making a whole lot of money with them. Now, before actually going triple speed, what about if we actually check out this train coming off the assembly lines, and in the meanwhile we can also already check out the frequency as he nicely chugs off the assembly lines. Give me a honk. No honk. Hello? That is just unacceptable. Not honking at all. That's just not very nice. Okay. We've actually overfulfilled the frequency, so maybe we did overbuy a bit on this one. That's nice, though. That's a good thing, I would argue. We can edit that thing real quick and probably... That's the wrong line. Basingstoke. 308. Okay. Nope. We are actually quite low. I hope that this train is going to make it, because we'll have to go and add quite a few train carts to the mix. So, 308 at 312 capacity. So we will need about 400 then. It's a lot closer to the other line length, I guess, than I thought it was going to be. And, well, we're still at mediocre. We can still make high slopes, which is a start, but we do not have the money needed for the upgrade right now. So, hopefully we get it before he actually stops there, please. Money? No, that's not enough. I mean, we could at least make it a bit longer for now so that we can sort of get a bit closer to that. That's still not going to get us the frequency that we need, though, I'm quite sure. Coal Basingstoke. 379. Yeah, not quite there. Not quite there just yet. There goes the money. Stop. Oh, God. Holy moly, that train is long, by the way. We will then go to, like, 408 capacity. Let's actually go to 416. That should ensure that we can definitely hit that rate. And you can see right here, 410. Okay. Maybe didn't need that last train cart, but at least we are most certainly in that level that we need. And you can see just how incredibly crazy long this thing is. I mean, it's like 15 times longer than the train station. That's just mad. But, well, we need it. What do I say? We absolutely need every single bit of that. Gonna start taking on the first bit of coal. Absolutely not filled to the brink, of course, but that's going to change very soon when this thing actually gets some time to produce some more coal in advance. And there is the end of the train right there. So yeah, quite insane, I would say. But that is then our coal train for the steel mill underway, which I would say is quite a nice step in the right direction. Now what we'll need is another train for the iron. And then we'll need to actually connect this thing up with the steel mill, and we will need to get the steel underway so we can make machines. Get the machines out of Stapleford. I'm quite sure, yeah, Blackburn up here definitely wanted some too. So we can probably just nicely connect that like this. And also deliver some machines to Blackburn to amplify that city's growth. And, well, maybe we'll even find a third one, or maybe when the cities grow we can actually use that machines factory to its fullest extent. And holy moly, we're already back at 27 million. I don't know how we're making that much money, but we're making so much money. I am loving it. So, with the amount of money that we just made, what we can do then is actually get this line going up here. So, new line will start out here, we will end down there, and we will of course call it iron to steel, or to basing. Which way around do we do that? Gotta match the other thing, right? The other name. So, Basingstoke, steel mill, and that is going to be the second iron, well, no, the second steel mill then. In a minute, up and running. We'll need to actually go and buy the train. I'm not quite convinced I have enough money to buy it, to be fair. I am quite convinced that we're going to need the BRE 94 this time around, because this train line is even longer. With that train that we just had and the amount of cards that we needed, we were quite close, I think, to not being able to take high slopes anymore. So, quite convinced that we need the BRE 94 this time around, and holy moly, that's 3 mil more expensive than the other one. Which I guess, you know, worst case, we can already just get it going with a few less gondolas and add on the other ones on top later, because, you know, the train depot isn't quite next to the iron mine anyway, so I suppose that's a start. But I can tell you, I think we are going to need like 500 of a capacity roundabout. And, well, we're going to kind of just work our way, oopsies, a bit closer to things as we are going. For now, 328 capacity. I'm suspecting that should end us up at a rate of about 200, 250-ish. Let's get this thing going for now. Maybe a bit higher, you know, given the extra tractive effort and, you know, the train thus accelerating a bit quicker. But, let's go to Iron Basingstoke Steam Mill. That is where you're going to drive, and hopefully this one gives me a honk today. Are you going to give me a honk today, buddy? That is like the absolute base requirement for any train to stay in the fleet for longer than 2 minutes. Theoretically. Didn't really sell the other one, but you know. Would be nice. Can we get a honk? Really? What is it with trains not honking anymore at me these days? That is absolutely unacceptable. Still, a beautiful train. Absolutely loving it. But probably let's check out the rate. I'm suspecting we're way too low. Iron Basingstoke 212. Yeah, so maybe we're even going to need a capacity of like 600. So, well, certainly a good thing that we actually got this train. I hope it's going to be able to pull a capacity of 600. That's going to be an interesting question. But most certainly we're going to need to go a lot higher here. Because we do need to carry all that fancy iron over. And you can see it's already stacking up, so that's something good at the very least. When it gets there, we will already use up a lot more capacity of the train. Back to 10 mil though, so you know what that means. Gondola spam. So we're going to go to like 500 at the very least. That already gets us to mediocre. We still are able to cope with high slopes though. I'm going to start with 520. I don't really have money for more anyways. And then we're going to see Iron Basingstoke. I think we have to get the time playing. Nope, that's 336. Okay, so we're going to need 600. I'm really concerned that this train cannot pull 600. And that's the train with the highest tractive effort that we have. So maybe we're going to bottleneck our steel production without any real other options. So that's going to be interesting. Still stacking up some nice amounts of iron right there. I mean, we do have 900k, so I guess we're going to buy one more train cart. Do not quite have enough to get it to where we need it to be. We're actually going to buy 2 more train carts. Quite confident, though, that this is not already big enough of a stack to actually fill up the entire train, to be fair. We are now at a rate of 346, so, you know, even more to be had right there. We can maybe just quickly check here in the edit vehicle screen. We're still mediocre. High 49 kilometers, I think like below 40-ish, something like that. It starts to struggle with high slopes, so I think it's going to be quite the close call in terms of if this thing is actually able to take care of everything. New plane, and that is absolutely beautiful. Maybe quite interesting to passenger transport. I think things have quite calmed down though with the new airplanes, as you can evidently see right here. So maybe not even quite that necessary. But, you know, in the future that could serve us well. Or at least, in order to get rid of a few airplanes, you know, get rid of a bit of a lag. And, you know, free up the airports a bit in terms of their capacities. But with that said then, the true trains are on their ways. We will have to expand the capacity of the iron train a bit more in the next episode when we do have the appropriate amounts of money to do so. And hopefully it'll be fast enough to take care of that. And then, of course, we will go connect this thing to Stapleford Halt out here to supply the machines factory with the steel, look at selling out the machines, and then we will go from there. But a lot of things on the to-do list as usual for today. I'm gonna have to end it off right here. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button down below. That does always help out the channel of Tom. And of course, if you haven't done so just yet, please consider subscribing right down below and hitting that bell icon in order to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. With all those things out of the way though, as usual everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one very, very soon. Ciao.